Hey, John Schneider here.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
You're always such a joy to talk to.
Why,
Um,
thank you.
you're always in a good mood. I don't know who to credit with that. Maybe your wife. I don't know.
Ah, my wife and my life,
Oh,
you
there.
know,
Hey, that's a good slogan.
and that's the right order. That's the right order right there.
Well,
Yeah,
one makes
things
the other
are
one better, right?
great.
Yeah.
Things are so great. Things that it's wonderful when you have a plan with someone and you execute the plan, and then the plan works.
Yeah, it's funny how that works sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, because if you don't have a plan, how do you know if you're on track? Oh, and we have a puppy. Stop it,
Aw,
Dolly, Dolly, Dolly.
is
We
that?
have a puppy who just discovered her reflection in the mirror.
Oh, so she's gonna go to war with
She's
it.
barking. Yeah, she's going to war with herself. Oh, well.
Don't most of us.
Yes, true that.
And you know what's funny is I didn't interview you that long ago, but your press agent, my friend Brian, it's like I said, really you can just set me up like every 2 months because he's so busy. There's going to be plenty of stuff to talk about, like about every 60 days.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah, this time it's a book and a movie.
It's like I don't even
And
know where to
since you know
start.
Brian, it's
Yeah,
also the CBD oil, the
yeah,
EMA sauce. My gosh, we got so much going on.
but
Um,
all good.
it is.
I had
It
a
is.
it's funny because I had a fan write in a question, what's his next project and how do I listen? Her name's Tracy Schoonover. And I'm like, okay, that's a loaded question. What his next project? I mean, where do I start it? I guess technically, your autobiography, My Life, My Way, because
Yeah,
that released the most recent on the 15th. So,
yeah, that
um,
just got released. And I was just talking to a book reviewer. He loved it, got it, and read it. It's like he ate the thing. And yeah, I'm excited. I've got people on my Facebook and on Instagram and all through the social media world who ordered it. And you can get it from the store or my store, johnschneiderstudios.com, which will take a couple of days, or you can order it from Amazon and it'll get there before you finish your order somehow. I don't know how Amazon does it.
I know. There's
Yeah.
sometimes I forget I ordered something. I instead of sleepwalking, I sleep shop, and then
Oh boy.
Amazon shows up at my door, and I'm like, it's kind of like Christmas. I don't know what is it.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't remember what I ordered.
Exactly. I was
But
doing.
so that's doing great. My Life, My Way is the book that led to the movie that comes out next week, which is Christmas Cars.
And that's
And
is this your
people can
first
order that.
film?
Actually, you can order that now. The plan is to mail them out. We get them from the manufacturer this Friday, and then we're going to stuff envelopes like great elves and mail them out. Some of them on Saturday, and we start mailing in huge quantities on Monday, hoping to have everyone who's ordered so far, hoping that they can get theirs by what we call Orange Friday, which is named after the General Lee.
Aw.
So yeah, yeah,
And that's
yeah.
that's cool because now your actual studio, is this their first film of yours to do there?
No, this is a ninth movie, Elysion, I've made.
I mean, with you in it, or with you as kind
I'm
of
in them a little bit.
okay.
Like I'll do a cameo, and my trick is that you can't finish something unless you've started. So I'll write a little role in every movie we do, and we'll shoot that first, and then we'll have technically started filming. So then we can't stop till we're done. So that's my
Now,
little motivational trick. We only have one that I would say I starred in, and that's other than Christmas Cards, and that's called Inadmissible. And that'll be available around Christmas, but our it's not a Christmas movie. It's a hard hitting crime drama.
I love those.
Well, I think you'll like this. We just approved the DVD day before yesterday, and it's pretty great.
See what I
But
mean? Like
it is
60 days
dark.
later,
It's
there's
dark.
always something. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But
what's
Christmas
this?
Cars is fun for
Yeah.
the whole family, and it's. I like to think that as much fun as we remember Dukes of Hazzard it's still around. It still makes people smile, whether you're 6 or 106. And it had a very intricate recipe. And I like to think that I know as well as just about anybody on the planet what that recipe was. And that's what I cooked Christmas cars up with. Yeah. So I think people who enjoyed Dukes of Hazzard, who remember TV trays and TV dinners with grandma and grandpa on Friday nights, or even after school, are going to love Christmas cards. So get a hold of it. Right now, you can only get it on DVD from my store, from johnschneiderstudios.com. But starting next Friday, Orange Friday, you can buy it, download it through Cineflix DOD, Cineflix Digital On Demand. You'll be able to only buy it for the first couple of weeks, and then you'll be able to rent it. So you can be able to rent it before Christmas if you want. If you don't want to purchase it, you can rent it for 48 hours, just like Amazon Prime or just like Netflix. But it's us. We're independent.
That's kind of nice.
Filmmakers and distributors.
Wow.
We are our own distributor as well for the movies. So I'm just excited about how everything has. I won't say it's come together. We've kind of beaten it together with a claw hammer.
Now most movies are made. Yeah. Most people just see that finished product and like, oh, how awesome it must be to be a part of it, and not seeing the blood, sweat, tears, and hammering. Gosh. Yeah, it's a lot.
I'll tell you what, if anybody had any idea how hard Tyler Perry works,
oh yeah,
they would love him even more. I don't know. I mean, I work harder than anybody. Elysia and I are the two hardest working people I have ever seen. And I know Tyler outworks us, and I don't know how that's possible.
I don't either.
I respect him. I won't say 24/7. He's more of a 25/8 guy.
Yeah, he finds another hour regardless, or another day
somehow, some way.
Well, and so we've been playing your music. You have an album out called Recycling Grace. And so for those of you who are just asking how to find out how to listen, you can listen just about anywhere for that. But I will tell you, I love Recycling Grace. I love I'll Fly Away. I love the tempo. It's just amazing. But I tell you, I think my favorite song might be House of Amazing Grace.
Isn't that fantastic?
Oh my gosh, you flipped House of Rising Sun. Like, it's so beautiful. I love that song. A House of Rising Sun is just one of the most clever written melodies.
Yeah. Well, oddly, I'm so glad you mentioned that song. That's the song that really started the whole Recycling Grace ball rolling. There is a group called the Five Blind Boys of Alabama, and I heard when I was doing Smallville, the woman that played my wife on Smallville, Annette O'Toole, said, "You've got to hear these guys. They're fantastic." So I listened to their CD 15 years ago. And on there was this really haunting rendition of Amazing Grace, sung with five voices to the House of the Rising Sun. And I thought, one of these days, I'm gonna recut that song. I'm gonna cut it that way with four of my friends, and it's because there are five verses, and we're gonna set the world on fire. Well, flash forward to 2018. And Elysia and I are talking about music because everybody'd come up to me and say, "When are you going to do a gospel song? When are you going to do a gospel album?"
I was one of those people.
Yes, you were. And I said, "Well, Johnny Cash told me he said, you will do one, and you'll know it's time to do it because you won't be able not to."
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Right? Where you can't help it. It's got to come out.
So as it turned out, that song was one of Alicia's favorite songs.
She's got good taste.
Yeah. So we couldn't not do the record. And one other little thing to that, we were at a dear friend's funeral. Reggie Young played the guitar with Elvis, played the guitar with many, many people. Wow. We were at his funeral, and one of the blind boys from Alabama was there.
No way.
And sang that song because Reggie, who I'd known for 40 years, played on that song.
Oh my goodness. You had to make it.
If that's not God getting your attention, I don't know what it is.
I thought it was my request, but okay, we'll go with that. No, it's kidding.
Well, it's that too. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's funny you were just mentioning, you know, country stars. I had a friend who is also a fan of yours. His name's Drew Mitchell, and he wrote in and asked, "Do you have any Waylon stories?" I was like, "That's a good question."
Wow. Well, I tell you, first time I met Waylon Jennings, we were on the set of Dukes. We were working on this thing called ADR, so we're recording dialogue. He came in to record some balladeer. Well, the boys are in a lot of trouble now. And he walked in the room with Jesse Coulter, and I said, "Well, how do you do?" And he said, "Hang on a second, Hoss." And he reached in his pocket and he pulled out his wallet, and in his wallet was a damp piece of paper because it was California in summer. And he said, "A little fella gave me this at a show a couple of months back, and he said he wanted me to give it to Bo, and he said, I don't want to forget."
Wow.
So he handed me this little piece of paper, and it was a little note from somebody in 1979 who was a Dukes of Hazzard fan, who had given Waylon Jennings, the biggest, baddest outlaw in country music, a little piece of paper. And this bad man made sure that he hand-delivered it to somebody who he had not met yet. Wow. So that's my Waylon story. Waylon was all the things you think he was, but he was also if there's ever an outlaw with a heart of gold, it was Waylon Jennings.
He was just madly talented. I mean,
oh my gosh,
good grief. I mean, I think for generations they're going to be still. I can hear some country artists now, and it's like, wow, they listen to Waylon. They do.
Oh yeah, you can tell. You can tell.
And I think John's one of them.
Well, I hope that shows. Yep, we've got another new album that's kind of the opposite of Recycling Grace, called The Redneck Rebel.
Yeah, that came out this summer.
It's very, very Waylon, very Skinnerd.
Yes,
very Marshall
Southern
Tucker.
Rock. Yeah.
And in some ways very Kid Rock. So be careful.
Well, he's kind of a friend of yours.
He is kind of a friend of mine.
Yeah, he kind of did the extravaganza.
Song on there. Jamie Johnson is also he's a friend, and he's got his demons, and they come out delightfully in his music. Not so delightfully in his world, I don't think sometimes, but demons don't come out pretty. But you got to let them out. You got to get them out. You got to let them out, then you got to kick them out.
I'm going to use that segue. So in your new book, do you feel like that was kind of cathartic in that way? You have some great memories. I mean, starting the Children's Miracle Network and obviously the Hazard Days, but you also had some incredible experiences. Like you talk about your experiences with Johnny Cash. But you've also had like a really tough last few years. I mean, really. And I'm so happy I see you coming on the other side of this, and it just seems a long time a coming, and I'm so glad.
Well, you got to, one of the things that I think is so cool about My Life, My Way is that I resisted the urge to make it seem like everything is just fine.
Right.
And everything, and it's just always been great. That's one of the things that kept me out of Christianity for decades, was phony people telling me everything was just great. I'm alive, and I've been rich, and I've been famous, and I've been broke, and I've been famous. So I know everything is not just hunky-dory all the time. So take off your powder blue sweater and tell me the truth.
Right.
So when I met Johnny Cash, that's what Johnny Cash did. Johnny Cash is a Christian who didn't pretend that everything was just great. He'd met the devil in the mirror. So I think one of the really terrific things about this book is that I go there.
Right.
Because like you said, we've talked a lot over the last couple of years, and some of the times we've talked, I've been going right through the middle of that hill.
Right through the middle of it, yeah.
But it doesn't keep me from smiling. It doesn't make me want to quit. It makes me want to dig in and work harder. And I think there's a lesson there. we all have issues. We all have things that go on, whether we're a teacher or a student or a police officer, a lawyer, a doctor, a homeless guy, a homeless girl. We've all got ups and we've all got downs. It's what we do with them that matters.
I had a friend of mine once tell me that, we all have our ups and downs, and they said, but so does an EKG. It shows we're alive. I was like, but it proves you're alive. It's
Yep.
unfortunately sometimes some of us look like we have a real heart issue. You feel like that at least, or that you feel like your pulse is erratic because it seems like more valleys than mountaintop.
Yeah.
But then
it just depends. It's all cyclical.
Yeah, exactly.
You spend some time, but it just naturally feels like you spend more time in the dark than you do in the light. That's just the nature of the dark. But if you look at it, it's still a spike. It's just a spike in the opposite direction.
Exactly.
And the good news is that, you're going to go the other way. You don't just sit there. I mean, you have to do something. But you have to be you have to drive your own car. You have to pack your own chute.
Exactly.
And accept what happens when you do. But just go for it. But you have to know what it is. You've got to go for something. People are like, well, I'm just waiting for something good to happen. Well, dummy, it's not gonna.
Yeah.
Or how will you even know if it did? If you've got no focus, you've got no target. In the first movie, Elysion and I did, and you can see this for free on my YouTube channel, John Schneider. It's called Like Sun. It is a hard-hitting crime drama with bad language, so be warned. But one of the things that's in it that I think is vital is the grandpa says to the grandson, you have to have a target so you know when you hit it.
That's true. That's
right?
Really
that's
a good bumper sticker.
You'll miss success.
Yeah, if you don't know where you're aiming.
Right. You can accidentally hit something, but you won't marvel in it. You'll marvel in it if you say, I'm going to hit the bullseye over there. I don't care how many times it takes me to hit it. And if you shoot 100 times and hit it on the 100th time, you will be proud. If you hit it the first time, you'll still be proud, but not as proud as if you tried harder. If you had to try harder. So anyway, I love the book, and I'm delighted that people are responding to it. And honestly, I didn't know it had lessons in it. I guess it's just the way I talk.
Yeah,
and I listen to my own lessons.
Well, and everybody, I think what you're talking about Johnny Cash is, I think one of the reasons that he was so impactful is because he was authentic. When you were talking about it, like talking about this book, I mean, just being real, authentic, because we can all put on a mask, and sometimes the mask is necessary when it's just not the right time to like shed everything in front of somebody.
Right.
But to keep that mask on forever, it's just, you're only fooling yourself. And when people don't feel that vulnerability in anyone, but especially someone who has had fame and success like you have, I mean, it makes them feel like, so I'm not alone. He went through stuff. Like, I just thought he just showed up on a show with a car, and then everything was just wonderful after that.
Right.
Yeah. And there's a little more to it. I wonder if because you've, strive to hit these different goals. And I mean, I read like the things that like your press guy, Brian sends me, here's some topics. I'm like, are you kidding? I don't even need this. But, like seriously, there's so many things just in this 1 year. Like, do you have trouble finding targets? Like, I mean, I say, no, not finding targets, narrowing them down. Do you have so many ideas creatively, you and Alicia? Like, does it feel like you want to hit them all, but there's too many?
Well, it's just funny you say that. We have, there's so many movies we want to make. And that takes a while. And as we are now, we've made our 9th movie, and people are seeing them. So it's kind of like I'm finding out what the audience likes about this one or doesn't like, or what. So the audience is kind of telling me now what the next one should be.
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm noticing, Alicia and I now are noticing that we are getting such great feedback that those decisions are kind of being made for us. I'm 59. I've got 25 screenplays that I've written that I want to do, and I'm working on 25 more. There's no way in the world I'm going to make all those movies before I die at 120. Right?
If anybody's going to, yeah, it'll be you.
Well, maybe. Yeah, well, then maybe so. But what that would mean is I'd have to stop writing the next one.
Yeah.
And if I live to be 120, which I want to, then I'll be working on a film and writing the next one.
Right.
At the same time, and maybe just having come out of the recording studio. So I don't know. The targets are kind of being selected for us, but I am coming to the realization with we may have to expand and have other people make some of these movies.
Well, you got the music going. You have your book. You have Christmas cards, but you're on Tyler Perry's The Have and the Have-Nots. It's like just what's currently buzzing is enough to make a busy person go, wow. Like, but it's so great because, and I don't see you not hitting the target now. It seems like you do that many different things in that many different fields and something would get watered down. But it's like you attack everything just seemingly with the same passion as the next thing, which is so incredible. I am curious to talk about your new CBD oil. I know it's going to be controversy with a lot of people because if you don't research it, you won't understand it. But I'm curious at what led to you doing this.
Well, I'm a firm believer in turning chicken crap into chicken salad.
I've heard that a few times.
We had on the day we started filming Christmas cards this year, we got some very bad health news that I'm not free to elaborate on, but through Elysion, some very bad health news, devastating news. And one of the first things we heard about in treating this bad thing was CBD oil. So one of the first things we did, it just so happened, if you believe in happenstance, it just so happened that Brian knows somebody that makes a great CBD oil. So I said, well, what is it? What is that? And what is that? Just liquid pot? Is that? I said, no, that's what
people think.
But no, it's hemp. It's this. It has medicinal purposes. And I had heard about it peripherally for quite a long time. And I knew about hemp. I knew that hemp was an amazing thing. It was rope. It was oil. It was newspapers. And then William Randolph Hearst put it out of business because he had other kind of trees. He made his paper out of different stuff and put hemp out of business. That was a business deal gone bad. So I knew there was nothing wrong with hemp. And, there's a lot of anointing people with oil in the Bible, and there's only two things I think that they could have made the oil from in biblical times. One is olives, and the other is hemp.
Yeah.
So we're at a point where we want to do something, we want to do everything, and we want to start. So the very first thing that Alicia did was CBD oil. And it helped with a lot of things. She was in a lot of muscular pain, a lot of bone pain, and scared to death. And CBD oil helped with all of that. Personally, I think, and then we started on a medicinal program, on a medicine program, some serious medication. Then we read a book about diet. So we did the diet. Then we heard that high temperatures like saunas, infrared saunas, are the enemy of this malady. So we got an infrared sauna. She happened to have some infrared stuff from when she had a salon.
Oh, okay.
So we heard that over 105 degrees, this thing doesn't like it.
Okay.
So we did that too. So we did a lot of things. And that was almost 6 months ago, and had PET scans that were bad, showing bad stuff in many areas. And the last one was 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago now. It showed one area of question about the size of a pea.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So we did do everything. But the first thing we did was CBD oil. And I believe, and I'm no doctor, but I believe that CBD oil is one of the oldest medicines, if you will, in our collective history. And I think what it is, I'm not a naturalist. I've known a lot of naturalists. I've read a lot about natural medicine and a lot of things. So I believe that all that's true. But what I believe most with regard to CBD oil is that the systems in our body that shut down, that are there to fight things we all have, it's not a matter of getting cancer. It's a matter of your system that fights it shutting down.
Right. And not being able to defend itself.
That's my entire education about that, in a nutshell. So it's a DNA chain that it has a break in it. You know, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Well, that's what cancer is.
Yeah.
So what I honestly believe CBD oil does, you put it in your body and your body goes, oh, I know how to use that. And I think, and I have no proof of this except
the proof's in the pudding.
a gloriously healthy woman I love who I will have around me for years to come. 6 months after I was told that was not going to be the case. And I think that CBD oil is directly responsible for creating a soil in which all of that other stuff could work.
And it's natural. It came
Yes.
from the ground. It occurs in nature. Yeah, exactly. It's something that occurs organically and isn't cooked in a lab.
Right. So I think our broken body recognizes its origins and uses that to fix itself. But you have to believe, and many people don't. You know, people believe that cancer is something you get. I've been taught for years, because remember, I started Children's Miracle Network. Right. I have been around cancer for 37 years, and the people who treat it. And what I've been told is that cancer is something we all have. It's just something some people's bodies successfully fight, and some people's bodies don't. So I look at that and I say, well, what is it that we did, or what is it that happened that made our cancer fighting system break? And how do we fix it? Now, some people just think you kill cancer. Well, you got to kill it. We have a battle with cancer. No, I don't believe. Now, I'm not telling people what to believe, but I don't believe we have a battle with cancer that we must win. I think a battle with cancer is something that starts at birth, and it is a management of cancer that some bodies manage better than others. So I'm in favor not of bombarding the cancer with some, don't shoot missiles into cancer. Try to fix the soil, fix the system that is supposed to keep it in check. And I have now firsthand knowledge of that worked with us. Will that work with everybody? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I think the number one first thing people should do who've been given bad news by somebody in a white lab coat is consider CBD oil.
Now, and you came out with your own branding.
I did. After all this, it was like, well, I tell you, it helps with so many things, not the least of which is your state of mind.
Yeah.
I mean, it does help with anxiety. And who wouldn't have anxiety? I thank you.
Thank you, John.
I'll talk to you again soon.
All right.